You're listening to Unlocking Vulnerability, a podcast produced by Helen, helping you better understand consumer vulnerability. Hello, I'm Helen Pettifer, and welcome to Unlocking Vulnerability. The Financial Conduct Authority, in their Treating Vulnerable Customers Fairly guidance, highlighted 4 key drivers to vulnerability: health, resilience, capability, and life events. In this episode, I'll be taking a closer look at resilience, both from a financial point of view as well as emotional. One of the definitions of resilience is the ability of people or things to recover quickly after something unpleasant, such as a shock or an injury. When it comes to financial resilience, it's all about 2 sides of the coin: coping with a sudden fall in income or an unavoidable rise in expenditure. There are many circumstances that can cause a financial shock to individuals. So let's start with looking at income. The Low Pay Commission estimates that there were 2 million workers paid at or below the minimum wage in April 2019. That equates to 7% of all UK workers. There's also a large number of individuals who work 0-hour contracts. So this then brings the challenge of not having security of a regular income, knowing when you're going to be working and how much you're going to get paid. So many of us actually have the luxury of a regular wage date. So we're paid monthly on a certain date every month. We know exactly how much we're going to get paid. And this helps then to plan how we're going to set up our direct debits, how we're going to manage our bills and our finances. But there are still numbers of people who have irregular or unpredictable wage payment dates. So it makes it far more challenging to know when you're going to get paid, how much you're going to get paid. It's much more challenging to set up those direct debits, manage your bills and manage your finances. Also, I've come across some people where they've been paid incorrectly at certain times. So we all know how much we're going to get paid on that particular date. So when you go to check your bank balance and it's actually significantly lower than what you were expecting, that can be a really challenging situation as well. Again, it makes it harder to manage your finances. It could cause extra stress in making sure that you've got enough in the account to manage the direct debits, the bills that need to be paid. So that can really impact an individual. Another circumstance that's very close to home is the numbers of people who are now self-employed or freelancers or indeed small business owners is increasing. This can really impact on those individuals' income. So again, it's not knowing when you're going to get paid, how much you're going to be paid, because it all depends on your client base, whether you've had a successful, profitable month. I've come across many small business owners who actually at the end of the month pay themselves last. So they make sure their bills are paid and their staff are paid. And if there's enough money left over in the pot at the end of that month, if there's been enough profit, they will pay themselves last. If there isn't enough money in the pot, they actually some months won't pay themselves at all. The other side of the coin is if the income isn't there or is lower than expected, it's far easier to fall behind on bills. This is a real challenge, and it's really, really important then that individuals prioritise their bills. It's making sure their mortgage and their rent is paid on the property that they live in. The utilities are paid, they have gas, water, they have electricity. And fundamentally, they're still putting food on the table. These are the basic necessities that we need in life. And obviously, if there's enough money to cover those, they are the priority. And then other bills get left behind or they get paid if there's enough money left over. And if there isn't enough money left over, this is when individuals can then rely on loans, credit cards, and even borrowing from friends and family. And then with those interest rates, managing to meet those minimum payments, it can really spiral into a whole web of being in debt and maybe taking years to actually get out of that debt. Obviously, with regards to the income and the expenditure, there could, in certain circumstances, be a significant gap between the income coming in and the bills going out. The Money Advice Service estimated that over 11 million people in the UK have less than £100 in savings. So these individuals who have a gap between their income and their expenditures don't even have any available savings, any available means to fix that gap and carry on. So this is where resilience can really fall short and stress levels can really increase. So lots of circumstances to think about when it comes to financial resilience. Let's now take a look at emotional resilience. This is an ability to adapt or cope well with stressful or unexpected situations or events. As mentioned earlier, another one of the drivers from the FCA is life events. Life can be challenging. It throws us all sorts of curveballs, unexpected and even unwanted situations and events. If that individual is not feeling strong, is not feeling resilient, they can quickly and easily feel overwhelmed, under pressure, having additional stress on top of what they're facing. This is why it's really important that we look after our own mental and physical well-being. Another circumstance that could really impact our emotional resilience is not having that support structure in place. So I'm truly blessed to have a wonderful husband, wonderful parents, and good network of friends that I can turn to who can support me with whatever I'm going through. Without those, I can imagine how difficult and challenging it would be to be facing even further stressful events and even decisions. A lot of research by financial organisations have found that individuals turn to family and friends for advice and support when they are making significant decisions, especially when it's regarding finances. So if there is no support structure there to turn to, it can really impact how that individual feels. It can add to their additional stress, feeling of overwhelm and pressure. It's really important to have that support structure there for your relaxation and leisure time, just to let your hair down, to relax and to have fun, to chill out. Again, it's looking after your mental well-being. For a large number of carers, if they haven't got that support structure, if they haven't got people to turn to say, I need a break, I need help, I need respite from the person I'm caring for, that can really impact them physically, mentally and emotionally. So it's really, really important that people have a good support structure around them. Also as well, this then leads on to, if there is no support structure in place, significant numbers of individuals can feel isolated and lonely. The campaign to end loneliness, the research that they found was that over 9 million people in the UK say they are always or often lonely. But that's a staggering amount of people that actually have admitted to the campaign to end loneliness that they're feeling lonely. But actually, a staggering large number of those people would feel uncomfortable admitting to it if they were asked by friends or family. Loneliness is a really, really big topic, and I think I'm going to cover this in a future episode because I think it's a really big topic. Age UK state that loneliness can be as harmful for our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's a staggering statistic, and it just goes to show that as human beings, we are designed to be social creatures. We need and we crave human interaction, and when that interaction is not there, it significantly impacts our mental, physical and emotional well-being. It's really important that we address this issue and make sure that the numbers of people feeling lonely starts to decrease. So when it comes to financial and emotional shocks, many individuals are not properly prepared, if at all prepared, to weather that storm. And as we know, one vulnerability can potentially lead to further detriment. So for example, low resilience can lead to debt issues, so actually individuals going into debt, whether that's from dramatic changes to their income or their expenditure. It can also lead to health problems, both mentally and physically. It can also put additional strains on relationships, so that can lead to confrontations, challenging relationship difficulties and ultimately breakdowns. It can also impact on the housing of those individuals. They could be at risk of losing their home, could be at risk of not having adequate heating and water supplies, which again then can lead to physical health, mental health issues. But I think the most important thing is that these low resilience levels can really impact family life, households, can impact where that family sits in relation to the poverty line, whether they have adequate access to basic human life necessities. So that's food, shelter, safety, exactly as per Maslow's hierarchy of needs. As we see almost daily on the news when engaging with customers who potentially have low resilience, not only are organisations failing to make things better, they're actually making things worse. So it's our responsibility to identify these individuals and support them in any way we can, whether that's discussing payment plans with customers falling behind on bills, signposting them to specialist support, or just simply listening with empathy, understanding, and a non-judgmental mind. I want to finish today's episode with a quote from Sheryl Sandberg. I think there are things that we can all do to build resilience in ourselves, but also to build resilience in each other. Remember to subscribe to my podcast and leave a review. You can also follow me on Twitter at @HPettiferTrain, and I look forward to you joining me on my next episode.